Man is led astray. Man has gone astray. It will be erroneous to say that man has gone astray. There is nothing for you to wonder about it. You have been unconscious. That is why you have allowed the society, the priest, the family to condition you in many ways, and they all align together so that you cannot rebel. And then suddenly you realize that you are astray. Ironically, all blame goes to you, not to the system. Then suddenly you realize that you are astray. A great insight has happened to you. Man is astray. The sin is not to be committed because it has already been committed. That is the meaning of the Christian parable, that Adam committed this sin, the first man. Man is born astray. That is the meaning of it. We are already in sin. The word sin is very beautiful. The original root comes from which it means missing the target. Sin does not mean sin, instead it simply means missing the target. We have gone astray. From the very beginning, man is astray. So there is nothing for you to do to go astray. Wherever you are missing your goal, your targets. You do not know who you are, why you are, where you are headed, and for what. You just go on like driftwood wherever the winds carry. Remember, this is the first realization. I am astray. Certainly this astray will make you come back to the path. The moment Adam realized I have committed this sin, he was returning back home. The moment you realize that whatsoever you are and wherever you are wrong, the journey back home begins. However, it is very difficult to realize this because the mind tries to protect and rationalizes in many ways. Human mind belongs to the world. It goes on protecting not exactly you, but your astrayness. You will have to drop all protections and all rationalizations. Once you understand that you are astray, suddenly realization dawned that you have nothing to save in this world. This wealth, power, and prestige, nothing is of any worth. It is all rubbish. You are losing something tremendously valuable for all this rubbish. You are selling yourself and purchasing toys and thus destroying the possibility of creating a soul for nothing. This is a basic realization that brings the first breakthrough. Feel happy about it. If you have recognized the fact that you are not wrong in any particular way, instead in a general sense, not wrong because you are angry or full of hatred or you have done this or that, not in any particular way, but in a general sense, one feels one is astray. Only then the door opens for growth and suddenly you start looking in another dimension. Then instead of looking out, you start looking in, because whatsoever you do outside will lead you more and more away. The more you chase shadows outside, the more you will be losing yourself in the world. One starts closing one's eyes and feeling and touching one's being. The first thing to know is, who am I? And everything else is secondary. And if this basic mystery is penetrated, then all else is solved automatically. And if you do not solve this, you do not answer the basic quest of man, who am I, then whatsoever you do is irrelevant. What are you doing? You are not trying to realize yourself or trying to compete with others. Remember, nobody is trying to be oneself. Everybody is trying to defeat the other. In the world, everyone is competing against one another. Somebody purchases a car. Now you have to purchase a car and a bigger one because there is a competition. You may not need it, but your ego is at stake. Somebody makes a big house. Now you have to make a bigger one too. This is how life goes on being wasted. Why should you be worried about what others are doing? That is their business. That is their thing to do. If they feel good, let them do it. You should look at your own needs. Ordinarily, there are two types of people. One who is competing with others, and another type who goes on condemning others that they are doing wrong. Indeed, both are wrong. Who are you to decide? If someone is making a big house, who are you to decide whether he is doing right or wrong? It is none of your concern. It is for him to think about. You should only think about whether what you are doing is good for you to do. People go to absurd lengths in competition, and people go on dying every day. One day death possesses you, and then you remember that your whole life was wasted with fighting others, and this was pointless. You should have put your whole energy into realizing yourself. Man is as he is simply living in a dream. This dream of ego, ambition, power, prestige goes on even when you are awake. The religious man is one who has come to understand that all this is going astray. One day when you look back at your life, you will not see a single act that was intelligent. Your entire life was full of stupidity and foolishness. You will feel simply ashamed. The sooner you realize it, the better. And it is easier to drop the past than to renovate it. You cannot renovate the past. You have to drop it totally. It is easier to be completely cut off from the past rather than to modify it. You can paint the foolish things, you can modify it, but you cannot make it wise. It will always remain foolish. Therefore, it is better to drop it. So if this recognition has come to you that we are astray, feel blessed. And do not forget to drop the old patterns. Remember this continuously. Unless you have come back to the path, go on remembering it again and again. Just recognizing it once will not do. You will have to live it. Remember it for a long time, continuously, again and again. So the hammering continues, and whatsoever you have done in the past is finished completely. At least if you remember that it was all wrong, then you do not try to decide that a few things were still good. Either all things are wrong, all things are right. There is no other way. It is not possible that a foolish man can do a few things that are right, and the vice versa is also not possible, that a wise man can do a few things that are wrong. A wise man does everything right to say, yes, it is true. I have done many things wrong, but not all. Then those things that he saves and says was right will become the center of his ego again. So be totally fed up with your past. Only then you can continue on the path. Once you recognize that your whole past was wrong, you simply drop it. Then you do not bother to choose. There is nothing to choose. It all came out of your unawareness, and it was all wrong. Your hatred was wrong, so was your love also. Your anger was wrong, so was your compassion as well. If you seek deep down, you will always find wrong reasons for your compassion or your love. A foolish man is foolish. Whatsoever he does remains foolish. So it will have to be remembered continuously so that it becomes a constant remembrance. This is what Buddha used to call mindfulness. One should remain mindful. It is not repeated again. Once only mindfulness, because only mindfulness will protect, and you will not be able to repeat your past again. Otherwise, mind tends to repeat things in a cyclical way. Mindfulness is the key. Mindfulness will protect, and you will not be able to repeat your past again.